Hi, my name is Denard McFadden from Atlanta Harm Reduction Coalition. Hope you all are doing well. Today we're going to talk about HIV testing in bathhouses. I know it's quite the interesting subject. Just to let you know, during this presentation, we'll be talking about some of the experiences that more so we've had here at AHARC in testing with bathhouses. There are a variety of experiences everyone can have, even from patron to tester to someone working at a bathhouse. We want you to keep like an open mind with that these are specific specific information that we've gotten from our experiences, and there can be a variety of experiences. So we will talk about that more at the end. If you have any questions, we hope to give you many answers about those. So first things first, as I was just talking about, is keep an open mind. It's okay to feel however you feel. Just be conscious of your biases that you might have. Particularly when we talk about things that are sexually, very sexually descriptive, and bathhouses can be one of those subjects. A lot of biases might come up or feelings. We're not telling you that you can't have them. We just want you to be conscious of them, so that you know, like, okay, maybe I'm feeling this way for a certain reason, and let me just kind of listen to this and hear another perspective. If you are one of those rare people in the world that have no issues around sexuality at all, bravo, I applaud you. For the rest of us, this is a great time to clear our minds out. My name is Denard McFadden from Atlanta Harm Reduction Coalition, which also will help doing well in testing in today we're going to talk about HIV testing in bathhouses, and also in our the interesting subject. Types of facilities. Just to let you know, during this presentation, I know one of the big questions might be for some people, not for everyone, but what is a we've had here at AHARC and testing with bathhouses. There's a long history about bathhouses that might explain a little bit about it, but just to give you a few little tidbits, tester bathhouse has been around for a long time, part of human culture for a long time. We want you to keep like an open mind with different parts of the world, even ancient Roman times. People met to engage in social interactions, specific information that we've gotten from our experiences, and there can be a variety implications of social experiences. So we will talk about that more at the end. Even if you have any questions, we hope to give you many answers about those. So first things first, as I was just talking about, is keep an open mind. It's okay to feel however you feel. Just be conscious of your biases that you might have. Particularly when we talk about things that are sexually, very sexually descriptive, and bathhouses can be one of those subjects. A lot of biases might come up or feelings. We're not telling you that you can't have them. We just want you to be conscious of them, so that you know, like, okay, maybe I'm feeling this way for a certain reason, and let me just kind of listen to this and hear another perspective. If you are one of those rare people in the world that have no issues around sexuality at all, bravo, I applaud you. For the rest of us, this is a great time to clear our minds out and start with a fresh perspective, which also will help in testing in bathhouses as well. So we want to keep this actually now during the presentation, and also in our testing in these types of facilities. So I know one of the big questions might be for some people, not for everyone, but what is a bathhouse? There's a long history about bathhouses that might explain a little bit about it, but just to give you a few little tidbits, bathhouses have been around for a long time. It's been part of human culture for a long time, from different parts of the world, even ancient Roman times, where people met to engage in social interactions, relieve their daily stress. Bathhouses even had implications of social statuses in some societies, where they were even patronized by royalty. So it's always been something that's been okay. Sorry. Look, you might actually hear me go in and out a couple of times. Actually, it's computer technology is not 100% all the time, but we're going to work with it. So like I said, there's a variety of things you can look up about the history of it, but let's focus on some of the basic definitions that we have right now. I actually, have spoken to people at different bathhouses and different things like that. Now, as a big disclaimer as well, none of the things that we will be talking about today will actually reflect their exact opinions or something that they want to actually say that is all that they think. It's just what some of the people that have worked in bathhouses or been patrons have thought. So in simplest terms, according to some of, like I said, venues we've been at, bathhouses are basically just social clubs. And social club is a very broad definition for a reason, because bathhouses can vary from one facility to another. Additional definitions may include a clothing optional cruising space where people can search for companionship, a sexual free zone, a spa-like venue with immediate or social sexual connections that can be made or witnessed, or just a hookup spot, if you want to go in the more millennial outlook with it. Definitions may vary for the sake of clarification's presentation, and we'll focus on the spa-like venue with immediate sexual or social interactions that can be made or witnessed. That we're going to focus on that as the main definition for this presentation. So when we're doing it, coming here for that. And I want to also interchange possible companionship with intimacy as well, so that can be interchanged for the purpose of this presentation, not to say that they necessarily are the same thing. So many people believe looking for sexual companionship in a bathhouse is illogical, given the stigma of hookup culture that is often associated with it. Let's not forget, many patrons of bathhouses see it as a judgment-free zone, a true safe space. So don't we all wish, that we had a judgment-free area for dating, or that dating was easier? So a lot of our clients are coming there for the same reason, for an easier way to connect with people. However they choose to do that. So if you are able to interact with this type of client in the bathhouse for testing reasons, keep in mind the following. And for your entire experience there, you want to keep this, like I said, in mind during the session. Sexual experience can connect people and its clients, and it is the client's right to seek out partners in whatever way they feel they can. For some, it may be their only comfortable outlet. I've encountered many clients the same way, that it's their only way that they feel that they can express themselves sexually and find people who are into the same things that they're into, because maybe in their dating life they've had some difficulty finding people who are into those things. So the bathhouse gives them an outlet for that. People can find love everywhere, with supermarket, clubs, bars, bathhouses. It's just, where be respectful of their desires to connect, and tap into your client's needs for intimacy. You may be able to find out more about how you can help them with their physical needs, including limiting transmission of HIV. It's not just actually about the health portion of it. We want to get to why they've actually come there and kind of help them find a way to limit their transmission or their exposure to HIV while doing that, so that we can actually have long-term effects. So a very, I would say obvious one, but not so obvious to everyone. A lot of people come to bathhouses to spice it up. And when I say people, this includes couples, partners, friends, acquaintances. They just want to actually spice things up. So they might already have a connection, but they want to possibly enhance that connection. That is a very common reason that they come. So a pro tip, just like to start with that, the word partner or couple in a bathhouse might refer to someone they met recently or a long time ago. Do not assume and do not judge. So they may come in and say, I want to get tested with this person or my friend or a partner. Don't assume that they've actually known them for a long time. Don't assume that they've only known them for 5 minutes. It can be anywhere and everywhere in between. But the verbiage does tend to vary a lot when you're doing testing in these types of venues, in our experience. So There are many couples, partners, singles that come to bathhouses to enhance or spice up their love life, like I was just saying. Ensure that your testers are well prepared in multi-person simultaneous testing, such as the information that can be found on the CDC website for couples testing in a non-clinical setting. If your agency does not allow couples testing, which there are many that don't for various reasons, we understand that, then have the information ready for the partners to read while the other person is being tested, to keep their mind preoccupied and to possibly save time on information that needs to be explained during the counseling/testing session. Because it's common to see couples in bathhouses, I would suggest you make an exception for the venue, if possible, to prevent the loss of possible clients. Because as we know, some clients will come in and they want to get tested with their partner. They might have some trust issues or might be going through a tough time. So allowing them to get tested together might be a bonding experience for them. So you do need to be prepared for that type of testing if you're going to open it for the venue. Also, this is actually something currently related to COVID. Have plausible STI exposure reduction options for partners, couples, to ready, and also COVID exposure and reduction options for partners and couples as well. Suggestion a condom in the STI portion of what I'm talking about. Suggesting a condom between partners that have been in a relationship of any kind for a long time might not well be received, and you must be prepared for that. We don't want to force options onto people. We want to figure out what options they've been exploring, which options work for them, and help them maybe do better with those options. Because like I said, a long-term couple or even a short-term couple or maybe just a sexual couple, suggesting certain things that they've already said that they were not going to use might not work. So we want to have a variety of options ready for those types of situations. Also, huge in this case, is very common that I've seen this in the bathhouse situation. Be prepared for serodiscordant results when you're doing couples testing, or already established partnerships, and be sensitive to their needs. So you do need to have actually a counseling session that is set up for serodiscordant couples. That say actually for ones that have already maybe a partner that knew before, or ones that don't know anything about their status. You still need to have a counseling session that's appropriately set up for that in a bathhouse setting. Compliment their willingness to explore together, which is huge, because it is beautiful actually when someone's trying to connect with the person and protect their health as well, and explain the benefits of discussing their sexual health together. Okay, so one of the other huge reasons that we see that people come to bathhouses is voyeurism. So put on here, watch out, but watch it. Voyeurism, just actually kind of recap on a little bit and do a little summary of it. If you don't know what voyeurism is, urbandictionary.com, which I love that site, kind of gives you a lot of what's happening, describes it as the person who derives sexual gratification from observing the naked bodies or sexual acts of others, especially from a secret vantage point. It doesn't have to be from a secret vantage point, in this case at a bathhouse, but they just enjoy watching. This observing can turn into action, but it just depends on them. But often stays just observing. So assuming that everyone is in the venue to do the same thing can lead to disastrous first impressions. And that's why I'm giving these many common interests. So please keep this one in mind as well, that a lot of people are not coming there necessarily to touch or actually be touched. A lot of them are just coming there for a sexual experience actually where they don't engage necessarily in the sexual act. So activities such as voyeurism can, is a typo on there, but can encourage people to be a little bit more a little more open actually about what they want to do or understanding more of what they want to do. So we really want to encourage people when they do this to kind of recap on what they've learned or what they've actually seen that night and what they actually enjoyed, so that you can better help them counsel limiting, HIV or STD exposure. So if they've been watching this one act and they're really interested and they're thinking about maybe possibly trying it, you can definitely have some information on that, on what the exposure or the possibility of transmission might be. I think it's actually a great way for a lot of people to learn about what actually makes them comfortable. And we definitely want to encourage our clients to be conscious of that and actually and to explore that, so that they can be more expressive to us of what their needs are, and so we can help them better communicate to their partners and better protect themselves. So we were actually talking a little bit just about earlier about this being a free space. I just want to just remind everyone, I don't have to go over too much with this, but this bathhouses are actually a free space for a lot of people. So we want to definitely treat it just as we treat our clinics or treat our testing areas. The entire bathhouse is a free space for people. So please be conscious of the biases that you might have from your background, from your foreground, from your daily habits that may come out when you actually are talking to people at bathhouses, because people can pick up when you actually feel uncomfortable with it or when you're actually not conscious of what you're saying. So sometimes you might say something that's a little bit to the left or to the right, and you want to be conscious of it so that you can definitely apologize and get things back on track. So clients deserve the right to be in a judgment-free space of their choosing, and a bathhouse is that place for many people. So this is actually a huge reason why a lot of people have expressed this to us when we've been coming out. And this can actually be connected. So now we're on the slide of explore sexuality and fetishes. This is a huge reason and a reason for coming to a bathhouse for many people. And to be honest, this presentation won't cover everything with it, but it was just going to touch on some of it. And this really deserves its own presentation, and possibly might come up in the future. Hopefully, crossing my fingers. But of course, we can't go on without mentioning this in the world of bathhouses and related venues. So as a judgment-free zone, bathhouses attract many patrons seeking to explore their most kinky desires, and sometimes just to see if there is any desire there. So we'll start first with sexuality. And I just, to be honest, like I said, I'm talking about both, but they're really actually two separate things. So please don't get confused, or I want any maybe possibly offense to them being questioned to one, but I just had to summarize it for sake of time. So sexuality, we're talking about this, the reason why people come through. Many of the gentlemen coming to the bathhouse do not identify as gay, bisexual, curious, queer, or anything related. They just want to verify if their feelings in a place where privacy is heavily guarded, which is one of the things I mentioned for bathhouses being very much the sanctioned and restricted to people who are male presenting, as the definition they've given me. Of course, this is not a fetish, sexuality is not a fetish, but more of a sexual portion of this interest that we're talking about. Both require some level of curiosity and some level of trust and or safety. But for the sexuality part, a lot of people are coming to just confirm if they feel this way and maybe see if possibly meeting someone that feels the same might spark that. So we definitely want to assume that everyone has different reasons, but we also don't want to assume that everyone has come with the same identity. So I've heard that before actually in some bathhouses, that some of the testers have maybe come and thought that everyone's gay. That may very well turn and displace a lot of interest for getting tested if you assume that. So please keep that very much open that everyone that comes is not identifying necessarily as gay or anywhere in the LGBTQ plus spectrum. So if there are any of those people that do come through and want to confirm, we want to definitely maybe refer them to some resources, maybe even some groups actually that can help support that, and just also equip them with some tools that will help them navigate this safely. As safely as possible. I don't like using that word, but we'll use it for the sake of time right now. So the other portion would be, and this is on the opposite side of the spectrum, people who have already confirmed their sexuality. They know exactly what their sexual identity is or how they may be on the spectrum where they fall. It could be a portion of the spectrum. It could just be one dot, but they're pretty aware of it. Some of those people actually go on the, like I said, further part of the spectrum where they go into fetishes and kinks. Now, conducting testing in Bathhouse, you will experience both fetishes and kinks. Those just beginning to figure out what they want, and those who know it specifically, well, like we just said, encourage both to explore themselves in consideration of their health, with the consideration of their health in mind. When it comes to fetishes, you should have training with your testing team on names and kinds of fetishes / kinks to be able to better communicate and serve those communities who often use bathhouses as a venue for their sexual expression. So, like I was just saying, you want to make sure you train your team on the names and kinds of fetishes and kinks to be able to better communicate and serve those communities who often use bathhouses as a venue for their sexual expression. I've encountered plenty of times many patients that have come through and they've talked about certain things, fetishes, other things they've actually been involved in. And because I was aware of those and I looked it up, I was able to look up some of the possible exposure factors for HIV or other STDs and help them navigate those fetishes and kinks better. So when you actually have some of this information, you can definitely build a better rapport with some of the clients and keep them coming back actually to you for testing purposes and testing advice. It doesn't hurt to actually just to know about it. Just because you know about it doesn't mean you engage in it. You're just actually being aware of more of what's going on, because not everyone has the same type of sex or not everyone has the same sexual expression. So you definitely want to take some time to be aware of those different fetishes and kinks. There are some websites for that, so possibly afterwards I'll try to have a few links for you with that you can maybe look up, that would be a little bit more public health related. So there's a big portion of this that we want to actually emphasize with everyone. You need to have safety precautions when testing a bathhouse, and not the exact same type that you have just in testing in your testing van or your clinic. So even without COVID-19, there are already safety precautions involved in conducting HIV testing in a bathhouse. For the sake of time, we will review some of the main precautions one should take when working at a bathhouse. Number one, make sure you have a secure area with a lock for testing. Because people are roaming around often in open space or different areas, they might actually try to go to some of the doors, and that's kind of part of the bathhouse culture too. So they might not be sure about what you're doing in there, so they might want to see. And if you're there testing with someone, HIPAA at the end of number one. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, HIPAA is going to be a big reminder for you on this. So just make sure you have a area where that's locked, because people often do roam around the bathhouses and they might be thinking that maybe you're a room for their partner or somebody else looking for possible companionship. So we want to definitely have a lock area so that if they try to, you don't actually have a situation where somebody comes in where another person is being tested. So number two, check the facility dress or no dress policy, and communicate restrictions for testing. Some bathhouses have a policy where you must not have clothes, and that is fine. That is part of their restrictions or their, openness. And some have a policy of maybe having certain underwear on or a towel, or they can be fully dressed. So you want to check what that policy is, and then communicate your restrictions that you need for testing. Like an instance with us, we require at least that they have a towel, that they have some kind of actually clothing for at least actually below the waist or anything like that if they are going to engage in any testing. So the bathhouse, like I said, is completely fine with that. And that's just something also to make it a little bit easier to build a professional relationship. So number 3, have clear signage. Again, a lot of the rooms are set up actually for people to engage in whatever activities they want to. You want to have your room clearly marked so that you can let people know that you're there for testing. You're not there for massages or anything else. There's a variety of reasons that they can be looking for you, but you want to have clear signage so that people, when they enter there, they know that they are coming into a professional environment for some kind of healthcare needs. It doesn't have to say HIV testing, but it might be health screening or some kind of healthcare needs. So have clear signage. Number 4, you want to dress in uniform or something with a clear company badge, because you want to make sure your testers have differentiated themselves from the patrons and the staff, and that they are part of your agency. So you want them to definitely look professional, yet approachable, but with a clear company badge if at all possible, so that it's very clear why they're there. And number 5, enforce strict non-fraternization policies. This goes without saying. I know everyone knows the reasons for that and for HIPAA reasons and other things like that, but because this is a social venue, a lot of them would think that maybe that the testers might be friends, or they're people who are cool with me. I can sit and talk, or I can kind of go a little further, maybe like invite them somewhere or something. It's just actually a part of the work hazard, but you have to definitely remind your testers and make it very clear that it's even stricter there, because people will get very social with them and try to talk a little bit further. So you need to make sure they know how to stop a conversation when it needs to be stopped. So one of our near to last slides is just going to be being willing to offer something to the venue special for them to connect with you. So if you want to start testing a bathhouse, you need to have something special to offer to the management team or owners that would, other than just we're coming here to test and get numbers, like special incentives, which can include in-demand condoms that they maybe need at the venue, lube, adult novelty items. They have maybe like the rings, wherever, the vibrant rings or whatever, or something that might be just fun, or even just an open mindset with the knowledge of the clientele. Bathhouses are petitioned quite often actually for testing, but it can be difficult to make a connection unless you have something to offer to build a partnership with the venue. Even a gift, a basket of whatever your agency swag or items might do the trick. So be creative, be professional, and be honest. And I just want to thank everyone for coming to this presentation. We'll give everyone a few minutes afterwards to absorb it and talk to me, myself, and possibly some of the other staff. If you have any questions, we're happy to try to give you answers. And if we don't have the answers, we promise to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you, and we appreciate you being here.